Hello there, and welcome to the Midnight Physics channel where the busy world fades away. Tonight, we're going on a gentle journey through some of the most fascinating and calming truths about our natural world. These aren't just stories, they're real wonders that exist right now, happening all around us, often in ways we never notice. As you settle in, let your breathing slow. There's no rush here. We'll explore forests that have stood for millennia, creatures with abilities that seem impossible, and landscapes that transform in ways that feel like magic. Each fact is a small window into the extraordinary patience and creativity of nature. If these peaceful explorations help you unwind at the end of your day, you're welcome to like, subscribe, or share your thoughts in the comments. It helps others find their way here too. One peaceful soul at a time. Now, let's begin our journey into the quiet wonders of the earth. The ocean produces most of the oxygen we breathe. When you take a deep breath, you might imagine thanking the trees around you. But the truth is far more surprising. More than half of the oxygen in our atmosphere comes not from forests, but from the ocean. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton, so small that millions could fit in a single drop of water, perform photosynthesis just like plants on land. These microscopic beings drift through the upper layers of the ocean, absorbing sunlight and carbon dioxide, then releasing oxygen as they grow. They form the foundation of nearly every ocean food web, feeding everything from tiny zooplankton to the largest whales. Despite their size, phytoplankton produce somewhere between 50 and 80% of Earth's oxygen. Scientists estimate there are more phytoplankton in the ocean than there are stars in our galaxy. Each one is invisible to the naked eye, yet together they keep our planet breathing. At night, in certain coastal waters, some species even glow with bioluminescence, turning the waves into liquid light. The ocean, vast and mysterious, is quite literally giving us life with every breath we take. Trees communicate through underground networks. Beneath every forest floor exists a hidden world of communication. Trees are connected through vast networks of fungal threads called mycelium, which wrap around their roots in relationships that benefit both organisms. Scientists sometimes call this the wood wide web, and it's far more sophisticated than anyone imagined. Through these fungal networks, trees can share nutrients with one another. A large, mature tree might send sugars to a younger sapling struggling in the shade. When one tree is attacked by insects, it can release chemical signals through the network, warning neighboring trees to increase their production of defensive compounds. Some trees can even recognize their own offspring and send them additional resources. Dr. Suzanne Simard, a forest ecologist at the University of British Columbia, has spent decades studying these relationships. Her research has shown that what appears to be a forest of individual trees is actually a collaborative community, where the strongest members support the weakest, and information flows like quiet conversation through the soil. As you rest tonight, imagine that silent communication happening beneath forests all over the world, trees talking to one another in chemical whispers, keeping each other alive through networks we can't see, but that sustain entire ecosystems. Some bamboo species grow nearly 1 meter per day. If you've ever wanted to watch a plant grow in real time, bamboo is your answer. Certain species, particularly moso bamboo found across Asia, can grow nearly 1 meter in just 24 hours under ideal conditions. This makes bamboo the fastest growing plant on Earth. The secret lies in how bamboo stores energy. For years, a bamboo plant develops an extensive underground root system called a rhizome, spreading quietly beneath the soil and storing nutrients. When conditions are perfect, usually during the rainy season, the plant sends up new shoots that telescope upward at astonishing speed. You can almost see them rising if you watch long enough, the stem adding section after section, hour after hour. This rapid growth has made bamboo incredibly useful throughout human history. It's been used to build houses, create musical instruments, produce paper, and even as scaffolding for modern skyscrapers. Some bamboo species can grow up to 35 meters tall in just a few months. Yet for all its speed, bamboo remains one of the most graceful plants in nature, swaying gently in the breeze, its leaves creating soft, rustling sounds that have calmed listeners for centuries. Honey never spoils. Archaeologists have discovered pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible. Honey is one of the very few foods that never goes bad, thanks to its unique chemical composition. Honey is extremely low in moisture and highly acidic, creating an environment where bacteria and microorganisms simply cannot survive. Bees add an enzyme called glucose oxidase when they make honey, which produces hydrogen peroxide as a natural preservative. The result is a substance that can last indefinitely when stored properly. Ancient civilizations recognized honey's remarkable properties. Egyptians used it not just as food, but as medicine, and even in embalming practices. Greek athletes consumed it before competitions for sustained energy. Throughout history, honey has been valued as a precious substance, golden, sweet, and seemingly touched by immortality. When you taste honey, you're experiencing something virtually unchanged from how it existed thousands of years ago. The bees that made it followed the same careful process their ancestors perfected over millions of years of evolution. Each jar represents countless trips from flower to hive, the combined effort of a colony working in perfect harmony, creating something that time itself cannot diminish. The Earth's magnetic field protects all life. Surrounding our planet is an invisible shield that makes all life possible. Earth's magnetic field, generated by the churning of molten iron in the planet's outer core, this field extends thousands of kilometers into space, protecting us from harmful solar radiation and charged particles streaming from the sun. Without this magnetic shield, the solar wind would strip away our atmosphere much as it did to Mars billions of years ago. Instead, when these particles encounter Earth's magnetic field, they're deflected around the planet or funneled toward the poles. There, they interact with gases in the upper atmosphere, creating one of nature's most beautiful displays. The aurora borealis in the north and aurora australis in the south. These dancing lights, curtains of green, purple, and red rippling across the night sky, are visible reminders of our planet's protective embrace. Indigenous peoples across the Arctic developed rich traditions explaining these lights, from the spirits of ancestors to celestial battles. Now we understand them as the visible edge of an invisible shield that's protected life on Earth for billions of years. Many animals can sense this magnetic field and use it for navigation. Sea turtles, salmon, and migratory birds all tap into this planetary compass, finding their way across vast distances. It's a reminder that we live within layers of natural forces, mostly invisible, that sustain and guide life in ways we're only beginning to understand. The oldest living tree is over 4,800 years old. In California's White Mountains grows a tree that was already ancient when the pyramids were being built. This Great Basin bristlecone pine, nicknamed Methuselah, has been alive for more than 4,800 years. Its exact location is kept secret to protect it from vandalism. But it stands somewhere among the other bristlecones, twisted and weathered by millennia of wind, snow, and sun. These trees survive in harsh conditions where most plants cannot. high altitudes with thin soil, extreme temperatures, and very little water. They grow incredibly slowly, sometimes adding less than 1 millimeter of width to their trunk in a year. This slow growth creates extremely dense wood that resists rot, disease, and insects. Parts of the tree can die back during harsh periods while other parts remain alive, allowing it to survive droughts that would kill faster-growing species. Inside Methuselah's rings is a record of every year it has lived. Wet years and dry years, warm periods and cold ones. Scientists study these ancient trees to understand past climates, learning about droughts, volcanic eruptions, and environmental changes that happened thousands of years ago. To stand near such a tree is to touch a living link to the distant past. This single organism has witnessed the entire span of recorded human history and was already mature when that history began. It asks nothing of us, simply continues growing new needles each spring, patiently enduring whatever comes. Starfish can regenerate. Entire bodies from single arms. Some creatures possess abilities that seem to belong in science fiction rather than reality. Starfish, or sea stars as scientists prefer to call them, can regenerate lost arms. But their abilities go even further. In many species, if a severed arm retains even a small portion of the central disc, it can grow an entirely new starfish. This means that one starfish, if torn into pieces by a predator or storm, might eventually become several new individuals. The process is slow, taking months or even years, but the regeneration is complete. New digestive systems, new nervous tissue, new tube feet for movement. Scientists study starfish regeneration, hoping to unlock secrets that might someday help human medicine. The mechanisms that allow these animals to regrow complex organs and limbs involve stem cells and genetic signals we're only beginning to understand. Certain species of salamanders share similar abilities, able to regenerate not just limbs, but even portions of their hearts and brains. In the quiet tide pools along rocky coasts, starfish go about their lives slowly, patiently. If injured, they simply begin the process of rebuilding themselves, a reminder that nature favors resilience and that life has developed remarkable strategies for survival and renewal. The Amazon rainforest produces 20% of the world's oxygen. Stretching across South America is the largest tropical rainforest on Earth, the Amazon. Covering approximately 5.5 million square kilometers across 9 countries, it's so vast that it influences weather patterns across the entire planet. Often called the lungs of the Earth, the Amazon produces roughly 20% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. But the rainforest does far more than produce oxygen. It's home to approximately 10% of all species on Earth. Scientists estimate that 1 in 10 known species in the world lives in the Amazon. A single hectare can contain more than 700 species of trees, more diversity than exists in all of North America. The forest creates its own rain through a process of constant water cycling. Trees pull moisture from the soil and release it through their leaves. This water vapor rises, forms clouds, and falls again as rain, creating a self-sustaining system. The Amazon releases approximately 20 billion tons of water into the atmosphere every day. This moisture influences rainfall patterns far beyond South America, affecting agriculture and weather thousands of kilometers away. Walking through the Amazon is an experience unlike anywhere else on Earth. The air is thick and humid, filled with the calls of howler monkeys, the buzz of insects, and the drip of water from leaves high above. Life exists in every layer, in the soil, on the forest floor, climbing up trunks throughout the canopy, and even higher in the emergent layer where the tallest trees reach toward the sun. At night, the forest doesn't sleep but transforms. Nocturnal animals emerge, bioluminescent fungi glow softly, and sounds shift as different species begin their activities. It's a reminder that life never pauses, that even in darkness, the cycles of growth, feeding, and reproduction continue in an endless dance perfected over millions of years. Snow is full of microorganisms. When fresh snow falls, it appears pure and pristine, but hidden within each flake is an entire microscopic ecosystem. Snow crystals actually form around tiny particles in the atmosphere: dust, pollen, or bacteria. Without these particles as nuclei, water vapor would have nothing to condense around and snow wouldn't form. Scientists have discovered that certain species of bacteria living in clouds can trigger ice formation at relatively warm temperatures. Pseudomonas syringae, a common bacterium found on plants, has a special protein on its surface that causes water molecules to arrange into ice crystals. Clouds carry these bacteria high into the atmosphere, where they become the seeds for snow and rain. When snow accumulates on the ground, it becomes home to specialized microorganisms adapted to extreme cold. These psychrophilic or cold-loving bacteria and algae can remain active at temperatures well below freezing. In glaciers and permanent snowfields, communities of microorganisms live in the thin film of liquid water that exists between ice crystals, slowly metabolizing and reproducing even in conditions that would kill most life. Sometimes these microorganisms become visible. Watermelon snow found in alpine and polar regions gets its pink or red color from algae called Chlamydomonas nivalis. The algae produce a red pigment to protect themselves from ultraviolet radiation, creating patches of colored snow that early explorers thought must be stained by minerals. So when you watch snow falling, remember that each flake is not just frozen water, but a tiny world, a crystal structure that formed around a microscopic organism, carrying life from clouds to Earth in one of nature's most beautiful delivery systems. The Great Barrier Reef can be seen from space. Off the northeastern coast of Australia lies the largest living structure on Earth, the Great Barrier Reef. Stretching more than 2,300 kilometers, this complex of nearly 3,000 individual reefs and 900 islands is so massive that astronauts can see it from space, even without magnification. The reef isn't a single entity, but a collection of billions of tiny organisms called coral polyps. Each polyp is an animal related to jellyfish and sea anemones that secretes a hard skeleton of calcium carbonate. Over thousands of years, these skeletons accumulate into the massive structures we call coral reefs. Living polyps grow on top of the skeletons of their ancestors, slowly building the reef higher and wider, generation after generation. The Great Barrier Reef supports extraordinary diversity. More than 1,500 species of fish live among the coral, along with countless invertebrates, 6 species of sea turtles, and more than 30 species of whales and dolphins. The reef acts as a nursery for many marine species, providing shelter and food for young fish before they venture into the open ocean. Coral reefs are sensitive ecosystems, responding to even small changes in water temperature, chemistry, and clarity. The symbiotic algae that live inside coral polyps and give them their vibrant colors can be expelled if conditions become stressful, leading to coral bleaching. When bleached, coral isn't dead, but is severely weakened and may not recover. Despite these challenges, healthy sections of the reef remain breathtakingly beautiful. Diving or snorkeling there immerses you in a world of color and movement. Schools of fish moving in perfect synchronization, sea turtles gliding past, and the gentle swaying of coral in the current. It's a reminder that life, when given the right conditions, creates abundance and beauty on a scale that staggers the imagination. Sunflowers track the sun. Across the sky, young sunflowers perform a daily dance called heliotropism, turning their faces to follow the sun from east to west during the day, then reorienting eastward overnight to greet the dawn. This movement is driven by different growth rates on opposite sides of the stem, caused by hormones responding to light. The benefit of this solar tracking is significant. Sunflowers that follow the sun grow larger and produce more biomass than those prevented from moving. The warmth of direct sunlight also attracts more pollinators. Studies have shown that sunflowers facing east in the morning, warmed by the rising sun, receive more visits from bees than cooler flowers facing other directions. As sunflowers mature and their flower heads become heavy with developing seeds, they stop tracking and fix their position facing east. This final orientation ensures they warm up quickly each morning, continuing to attract pollinators during their remaining fertile period. The mechanism behind heliotropism involves the plant's circadian clock, an internal sense of time that continues even when a plant is kept in constant conditions. Young sunflowers moved to continuous light will continue their east-west-east movement for several days, following their internal rhythm even without the sun to guide them. Fields of sunflowers, all facing the same direction, create a striking sight. The uniform orientation looks almost intentional, as if the flowers have agreed among themselves on the best way to face the world. It's a reminder that plants, though rooted in place, are not passive but actively responding to their environment in sophisticated ways that help them thrive. The Sahara Desert used to be green. The Sahara, Earth's largest hot desert covering roughly 9 million square kilometers across North Africa, was once a very different place. Between approximately 11,000 and 5,000 years ago, during what scientists call the African humid period, much of the Sahara was covered in grasslands, lakes, and wetlands. Evidence for this green Sahara comes from multiple sources. Ancient lake beds can be found hundreds of kilometers from any current water source. Fossils of crocodiles, hippopotamuses, and fish have been discovered in areas that are now barren sand. Perhaps most remarkably, rock art created by prehistoric peoples shows them hunting giraffes, herding cattle, and fishing. All activities impossible in today's desert. This dramatic transformation was triggered by changes in Earth's orbital patterns, which shifted the African monsoon system northward, bringing regular rainfall to the Sahara. Rivers flowed year-round, lakes covered thousands of square kilometers, and grasslands supported large populations of animals and humans. Around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, the climate shifted again. The monsoons weakened, rainfall decreased, and the lakes began to dry. Over several centuries, the Sahara transformed into the desert we know today. This change happened within recorded human history. Ancient Egyptian texts describe regions that were once fertile, but had become desert. The Sahara may become green again. Earth's orbital cycles continue, and some climate models predict that in approximately 15,000 years, increased summer insolation could strengthen African monsoons, bringing rain back to the desert. It's a reminder that landscapes we think of as permanent are actually dynamic, constantly changing on timescales that dwarf human lifetimes. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. Among the ocean's most intelligent and unusual creatures are octopuses. These 8-armed mollusks possess not 1 heart but 3, and their blood is not red but blue. 2 peripheral hearts pump blood through the gills where it picks up oxygen, while the central heart circulates it to the rest of the body. The blue color comes from hemocyanin, a copper-based protein that carries oxygen in octopus blood, unlike the iron-based hemoglobin that makes human blood red. Hemocyanin is more efficient at transporting oxygen in cold, low-oxygen environments like the deep ocean, though it makes octopuses sensitive to changes in water chemistry and temperature. Beyond their unusual circulatory system, octopuses display remarkable intelligence. They can solve complex puzzles, use tools, and even display distinct personalities. Each of their 8 arms contains hundreds of suckers that can taste and smell, essentially giving them 8 additional brains. About 2/3 of an octopus's neurons are located in its arms rather than its central brain. Octopuses are masters of camouflage, able to change both the color and texture of their skin in milliseconds to blend with their surroundings. They can mimic rocks, coral, or even other animals. Some species, when threatened, release a cloud of ink that contains compounds that dull a predator's sense of smell, then escape while their attacker is confused. Most species of octopus are solitary and live only a few years, but they pack remarkable abilities into their brief lives. The giant Pacific octopus, one of the largest species, can weigh more than 70 kilograms and span 6 meters from arm tip to arm tip. Despite their size and intelligence, they remain mysterious creatures, much of their behavior still unknown to science. Lightning strikes Earth about 8 million times per day. Across the planet, at any given moment, approximately 2,000 thunderstorms are occurring. These storms produce lightning, lots of it. Scientists estimate that Earth experiences roughly 100 lightning strikes every second, totaling about 8 million strikes every 24 hours. Lightning forms when electrical charges separate within storm clouds, typically with positive charges accumulating near the top and negative charges near the bottom. When the difference becomes large enough, usually around 100 million volts, current flows to equalize the charge, creating a lightning bolt. The temperature inside a lightning bolt briefly reaches approximately 30,000 degrees Celsius, about 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. This extreme heat causes the surrounding air to expand explosively, creating the shockwave we hear as thunder. You can estimate how far away a lightning strike occurred by counting the seconds between the flash and the thunder, then dividing by 3. The result is the approximate distance in kilometers. Lightning plays an important role in Earth's nitrogen cycle. The intense heat and pressure breaks apart nitrogen molecules in the air, allowing them to combine with oxygen to form nitrogen oxides. Rain washes these compounds into the soil, where they become available to plants as fertilizer. Before humans invented industrial nitrogen fixation, lightning provided much of the nitrogen that made land ecosystems productive. Some places experience far more lightning than others. Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela holds the world record, with lightning flashing almost constantly during the wet season, up to 250 nights per year. The phenomenon, called the Catatumbo lightning, is so reliable that sailors historically used it for navigation. Watching a lightning storm from a safe distance is one of nature's most dramatic displays. The sudden illumination of clouds, the forking paths of electricity across the sky, and the rolling thunder that follows. Its raw power made visible, a reminder of the tremendous energies constantly moving through Earth's atmosphere. Blue whales are the largest animals that have ever existed. The largest animal to ever live on Earth isn't a dinosaur or an ancient sea creature. It's alive today. Blue whales can reach lengths of more than 30 meters and weigh up to 173,000 kilograms, making them larger than even the biggest dinosaurs. A blue whale's heart alone weighs approximately 400 kilograms, about the size of a small car. Its arteries are wide enough that a small child could crawl through them. When a blue whale surfaces to breathe, its blow, the spray of water vapor from its blowhole, can reach 9 meters high and can be seen from several kilometers away. Despite their enormous size, blue whales feed primarily on tiny creatures called krill, small, shrimp-like crustaceans that swarm in massive numbers in cold ocean waters. A single blue whale can consume up to 4,000 kilograms of krill per day during feeding season. They feed by gulp feeding, taking in huge volumes of water and krill, then using baleen plates in their mouths to filter out the water while retaining the food. Blue whales sing songs that rank among the loudest sounds produced by any animal, reaching up to 188 decibels, louder than a jet engine. These low-frequency calls can travel for thousands of kilometers through the ocean, allowing widely separated whales to communicate across vast distances. In the early 20th century, industrial whaling nearly drove blue whales to extinction. By the time they received protection in 1966, their numbers had fallen from perhaps 250,000 to only a few thousand. Today, their population is slowly recovering, with an estimated 10,000 to 25,000 individuals worldwide, a reminder of both the damage humans can cause and the possibility of healing when we choose differently. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth. Each year, the moon moves approximately 3.8 centimeters farther from Earth. This gradual separation has been occurring since the moon formed, roughly 4.5 billion years ago, and will continue into the distant future. The moon's drift is caused by tidal interactions between Earth and its satellite. The moon's gravity creates tides in Earth's oceans, but the rotating Earth drags these tidal bulges slightly ahead of the point directly under the moon. The gravity of these tidal bulges pulls the moon forward in its orbit, causing it to gain energy and spiral slowly outward. As the moon recedes, Earth's rotation gradually slows. Days are getting longer, currently by about 1.7 milliseconds per century. This might seem insignificant, but over billions of years, the effect is substantial. When the moon first formed, Earth's day was only about 5 hours long, and the moon appeared enormous in the sky, orbiting at a distance of perhaps 20,000 kilometers compared to the current 384,000 kilometers. Ancient corals provide evidence of this slowing rotation. Their growth patterns show daily rings, much like trees show annual rings, and very old coral fossils show more daily rings per year than modern corals, indicating that Earth was spinning faster in the past, making days shorter and years contain more days. In the very distant future, billions of years from now, the moon will have drifted far enough that Earth's rotation and the moon's orbit will synchronize, with one side of Earth permanently facing the moon, just as one side of the moon now permanently faces Earth. Of course, by then the sun will have changed as well, so the story of Earth and moon will have moved to its final chapters. Redwood trees can live for over 2,000 years. Along the coast of Northern California and Southern Oregon grow some of the tallest and oldest trees on Earth, coast redwoods. These massive conifers can reach heights exceeding 115 meters, with trunks more than 7 meters in diameter. Some individuals have stood for over 2,000 years, beginning their lives before the Roman Empire reached its height. Coast redwoods thrive in a narrow coastal strip where ocean fog provides crucial moisture during the dry summer months. Their bark, which can be up to 30 centimeters thick, is fire-resistant and contains tannins that protect against insects and decay. This allows the trees to survive forest fires that would destroy most other species, often with only superficial burning. The ecosystem within an old-growth redwood forest is unique. The massive trunks and high canopy create a cathedral-like atmosphere where light filters down in shafts through the fog. Fallen trees decay slowly, providing habitat for countless organisms and nutrients that feed the next generation. Some redwoods grow directly from the root systems of fallen ancestors, creating families of trees that share resources through connected roots. Incredibly, scientists have discovered entire ecosystems existing in the canopies of the tallest redwoods, more than 90 meters above the ground. Soil accumulates in crevices on large branches, supporting ferns, huckleberries, and even other tree species growing as epiphytes. Salamanders spend their entire lives in these canopy-based ecosystems, never descending to the ground. Walking among old-growth redwoods is a humbling experience. The silence, the scale, and the sense of deep time create a peaceful atmosphere found in few other places. These trees were ancient when much of human history was yet to unfold, and they stand patiently still, reaching toward the sky, breathing in carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen, providing shade and shelter to countless organisms in an unbroken cycle that has continued for millennia. The northern lights are visible from space. From the International Space Station, astronauts witness one of Earth's most beautiful phenomena from a unique perspective, looking down at the aurora borealis, or northern lights, rather than up at them. The glowing curtains of green, purple, and red light that dance across the polar sky are actually occurring at the same altitude where the station orbits, between 100 and 400 kilometers above Earth's surface. The auroras form when charged particles from the Sun, traveling in the solar wind, encounter Earth's magnetic field. The magnetic field channels these particles toward the polar regions, where they collide with oxygen and nitrogen molecules in the upper atmosphere. These collisions excite the atmospheric gases, causing them to emit light, green and red from oxygen, blue and purple from nitrogen. The intensity and frequency of auroras are linked to solar activity. During periods of high solar activity, when the Sun releases particularly powerful streams of charged particles, in events called coronal mass ejections, the auroras become brighter and may be visible at lower latitudes than usual. Historical records describe auroras seen as far south as the Caribbean during particularly intense solar storms. Indigenous peoples of the Arctic developed rich cultural traditions around the auroras. The Sami of northern Scandinavia believed they were caused by the souls of the dead. Some Inuit groups thought they were spirits playing football with a walrus skull. Many cultures treated them with reverence and caution, believing they carried messages or warnings. Today, the northern lights and their southern counterpart, the aurora australis, draw tourists from around the world to places like Iceland, Norway, Alaska, and New Zealand. But their beauty is more than visual. They're a visible reminder that we live on a dynamic planet surrounded by invisible forces, protected by a magnetic shield, and connected to a star 93 million miles away that bathes us in both light and a constant stream of charged particles. Bees perform a dance to communicate. Honeybees have developed one of the most sophisticated communication systems in the animal kingdom. A dance that conveys precise information about food sources to their hive mates. When a scout bee discovers a good source of nectar or pollen, it returns to the hive and performs what scientists call the waggle dance. The dance is remarkably complex. The bee moves in a figure-8 pattern, with a straight waggle run in the middle, where it shakes its body from side to side. The direction of this waggle run, relative to vertical, indicates the direction of the food source relative to the sun. The duration of the waggle run indicates the distance. Longer dances mean farther destinations. The vigor of the dance communicates the quality of the food source. Other bees in the hive watch this dance, memorizing the information, and then fly out to the indicated location. Studies have shown that bees can communicate the location of food sources several kilometers away with remarkable accuracy. They can even adjust their dance to account for the sun's movement across the sky during the time they spend inside the dark hive. This discovery, made by Austrian scientist Karl von Frisch in the mid-20th century, earned him the Nobel Prize in 1973. It revealed that insects, with their tiny brains, were capable of abstract symbolic communication, using movement to represent direction and distance, concepts that require a sophisticated level of cognition. A beehive is a super-organism, where thousands of individuals work together with coordinated purpose. They regulate the hive's temperature, build perfect hexagonal cells from wax, store honey for winter, raise young, and defend against intruders. The waggle dance is just one element of their complex society, but it demonstrates that intelligence and sophisticated communication aren't exclusive to large-brained animals. As you drift towards sleep, imagine a hive somewhere in the world, bees dancing in the darkness, sharing knowledge through movement, each individual part of something larger, working together in patterns perfected over millions of years of evolution. The deepest part of the ocean is nearly 11 kilometers deep. In the western Pacific Ocean lies the Mariana Trench, home to the deepest point in Earth's oceans, a place called Challenger Deep. At its bottom, nearly 11 kilometers below the surface, the pressure reaches more than 1,000 times atmospheric pressure at sea level. That's equivalent to having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of you. At these extreme depths, no sunlight penetrates. The water temperature hovers just above freezing. The pressure would instantly crush most life. Yet life exists even here. Scientists have discovered fish, shrimp-like amphipods, and various microorganisms surviving in conditions that seem incompatible with biology. Only a handful of people have ever visited Challenger Deep. Film director James Cameron made a solo dive in 2012 in a specially designed submersible, becoming the third person to reach the bottom. After Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh's historic 1960 dive, the journey took more than 2 hours of descent through increasing darkness and crushing pressure. What they found was a barren landscape of pale sediment, yet it wasn't lifeless. Cameras captured sea cucumbers, amphipods, and even plastic debris. A sobering reminder that human influence reaches even the most remote places on Earth. The deep ocean remains one of the least explored environments on our planet, with more people having walked on the moon than have visited the deepest ocean trenches. The ocean covers approximately 71% of Earth's surface, yet we've explored less than 20% of it. Vast regions remain unmapped at high resolution. Scientists estimate that we've identified less than 10% of marine species. The deep ocean holds mysteries we've barely begun to investigate. Communities living around hydrothermal vents, organisms surviving without any connection to sunlight-based food webs, and geological processes that shape our planet's surface and drive the movements of continents. As you rest tonight, remember that below the waves lies an entire world, dark and pressurized, yet full of life that has adapted to conditions we can barely survive with our most advanced technology. It's a reminder of how much of our own planet remains mysterious, waiting to be explored and understood. The smallest kingdom lasted only 294 days. Let's shift from nature to a moment of human history that feels almost dreamlike in its brevity. In the year 1870, Louis-Antoine de Bourbon became King of Spain under the name Amadeus I. His reign lasted only 294 days, making it one of the shortest monarchies in European history. Amadeus was invited to become king after Queen Isabella II was deposed, but he found Spain in political chaos. Republicans opposed him, monarchists who wanted Isabella's son to rule opposed him, and after multiple assassination attempts and endless political conflicts, he abdicated on February 11th, 1873, stating that the Spanish people were ungovernable. This brief reign is a reminder that even human institutions that seem permanent and grand, kingdoms, governments, empires, can vanish remarkably quickly when circumstances change. History is full of such brief flickers. Nations that existed for months, rulers who held power for days, movements that bloomed and faded in single seasons. As we come to the end of our gentle journey through natural wonders, perhaps your eyelids, continue 11 to 16, have grown heavy. Perhaps you're seeing these facts with closed eyes now, your breathing slow and steady. We've traveled from the microscopic world of phytoplankton to the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean's deepest trench. We've stood beside trees older than civilizations and watched bees perform dances in the darkness of their hives. We've learned that honey never spoils, that bamboo can grow a meter in a day, and that the moon is slowly, patiently drifting away from Earth. Each of these facts is more than just information. They're windows into the patterns and rhythms that sustain our world. Nature doesn't hurry. Trees grow for thousands of years. Coral builds reefs over millennia. The planet breathes through its forests and oceans, cycles water and nutrients, protects itself with a magnetic shield we cannot see. There's comfort in knowing these processes continue whether we're aware of them or not. Right now, somewhere, phytoplankton are creating oxygen. Bees are dancing their precise dances. Lightning is striking the Earth 8 million times today, and will again tomorrow. Trees are communicating through underground networks, sharing resources and warnings. You are part of all of this, made of elements, forged in stars, breathing oxygen created by ancient oceans, protected by a magnetic field generated by our planet's molten core, standing on a world that has been perfecting the art of life for nearly 4 billion years. As you drift towards sleep now, let these thoughts settle softly into your mind. You don't need to remember each detail. Just let the feeling remain, the sense that the world is vast and ancient and patient, that nature has been solving problems for eons, and that you are held within systems so large and so intricate that they're beyond full comprehension, yet they work perfectly to keep you alive with every breath. The stars are shining tonight as they have for billions of years. The trees are quietly converting carbon dioxide to oxygen. The ocean is breathing through its plankton, and you can rest knowing that all these cycles will continue while you sleep and be here again when you wake. Thank you for taking this journey with me. May your dreams be peaceful, and may you wake refreshed, ready to appreciate the small wonders that surround you every day. Good night.